all of a sudden, in the early days of December, there was a president's daily brief that was drafted. This is put together by the different elements of the intelligence community that reflected that same assessment. Russia did not try to hack the election, in essence. That PDB, that document, was pulled hours before it was supposed to be published for the president to see that following morning. That document was never published until we released it yesterday. One day later, President Obama calls a meeting of his National Security Council, his top officials, to be held on what they called a sensitive topic. And the results of that meeting, which we released yesterday, and these over 100 documents that talk about in detail how President Obama and his team, he directed a manufactured piece of intelligence that detailed not if, but how Russia tried to influence the outcome of the United States election that President Trump won in November of 2016. This document was then used as the foundation for everything that came next. It was essentially a years-long coup that was launched against President Trump before he even had the opportunity to take his oath of office and be sworn in as President of the United States.
Look, I can't be clear enough about this. We didn't even know that there was an FBI investigation of Trump. I didn't. President Obama didn't. We actually abided by the firewalls between. If there were any investigations that took place, those decisions were made in the Justice Department, in the FBI, not in the White House. They will find nothing that suggests that there was any political White House involvement in any of that. Literally, I learned about the FBI investigation into Trump as a private citizen in the freaking Washington Post. This, you have to understand that we actually abided by the long-standing practice of the White House not getting involved in that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm. We're now more authoritarian in our government than most of the countries that we talk about when we talk about dictatorial regimes in this world. That's where we are now in month 5.
So where are we heading?
I think we're headed to a place where what is going to happen this weekend, where there's popular mobilization and there's troops in the streets and there's a president of the United States who's going to watch tanks and helicopters go by him, that's where we're going to be. This is, the Rubicon's been crossed, the lines have been drawn, and because of the complete abdication of responsibility from the Republican Party in this country, how does John Thune, the Senate Majority Leader, how does he feel about one of his colleagues being thrown to the ground and handcuffed? We've heard nothing from them. So it's up to the people in the streets. And that's where we're going to be. We're just going to be in a very difficult place, and it's hard for people to hear. But I'm glad that people are mobilizing because this is not something that we've ever seen before in the history of this country. And this is just where we're going to be until either some people get some backbone who actually have power to stand up to Trump, the courts, the Senate Republicans, or we're just going to be here until we can get to another election if there's not a military national emergency declared to prevent that election from happening. I think we have to start talking about these things.
I just came outside to try to process all this. It's a lot to process. I mean, I can't even. I can't. I mean, I can't. I can't put it into words. I don't know what the words are. I mean,
We had in President Obama and his leadership team people who did not want to accept the will of the American people in electing Donald Trump in 2016, and therefore cooked up this treasonous conspiracy to, again, try to effectively, and they did effectively, launch a years-long coup against the sitting president of the United States.